The regular meeting for February 9th to order, call to order at 6:02. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mayor Sauter,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Miller, Councilmember A. Dixon,
Here.
Councilmember Messick,
Present.
Councilmember Kearney,
Present.
Councilmember C. Dixon,
Here.
Councilmember Fox.
Present.
We have a quorum. Let the record reflect that Mayor Pro Tem Miller is absent.
Thank you so much. At this time, we'll have an invocation by Pastor Michael Bridge of First Baptist Church of Jonesboro. Bridget, with an S, I'm sorry, Bridges.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, let's thank you for inviting us here for the invocation on behalf of Pastor Mel Blackaby. And as before the invocation, I thought about Isaiah in the Bible, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9, where it talks about the government rests on the shoulders of the Lord, which means we make every decision with integrity and honesty. I just like to say that. And let's go before the Lord in prayer. Father God in heaven, Lord, first of all, we thank you for your mercy and your grace and your sovereignty and your love. Father God, right now we just want to lift up this city government to you, our mayor, our council, and all our staff, Lord. Lord, we ask that you would give them wisdom, Lord, right now in the name of Jesus, to operate through the critical decisions of our city. Lord, we ask that you would go before them, Lord, and just give them guidance and understanding to such a serious and critical job, Lord. We thank them for their presence. We thank them for what they're doing for our city. And Lord, not only that, Lord, we ask right now that you will grant them the courage to make the honest decisions for our community. And Lord, that we work in harmony and unity for the common good of this city. Lord, we thank you right now for everything that you are about, everything that you do, Lord. We just glorify you and ask that your Holy Spirit will be present in this meeting and that we will all operate on unity, one accord with one heart and one intent, and that is to bring justice and order and integrity to our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, Pastor. At this time, let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record reflect Mayor Pro Tem is joining us. Okay, she got it. Thank you. All right, council, we have an agenda before us. I don't think I have any changes. Staff, were there any changes to the agenda?
Yes,
Yes.
I have one. Council, we would like to add council to consider approval of a memorandum of agreement regarding the local comprehensive plan update assistance on behalf of economic DDA.
We would like to put that up under the economic development report so you can give us a little bit of background on that. So we'll do item B up under economic development report and council to consider a memorandum of understanding for our comprehensive report. Council, was there any other additions or subtractions?
Mayor,
Yes.
I wanted to add, I didn't see on the agenda our financial presentation, so I wanted to add discussion of our financial report for the month.
Okay, we can put that. She's not here. So I guess it wouldn't be a financial report because she's not here to give one.
Are we gonna have one for February?
Did she have,
since
yeah,
we
did she
went to-
provide one? Because she
No.
said that we,
She said we would have one.
I know. She didn't provide one.
That's
I'll send you an
concerning.
email. Well, it shouldn't be concerning. She's out of town. I will send you all an email, but you shouldn't be concerned.
Okay,
Beg your
Mayor,
pardon?
one other thing to discuss is the phone call that we received concerning the lease agreement with Nuvo and maintenance and repairs.
Okay, I can update you all on that.
Should it be old business, new business?
Let me add that as item B under new business, 'cause I can just give you an update on that. Nouveau
So
repair.
item-
Item B under new business would be an update on Nouveau repair. Are you talking about when I called you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. All right, so,
and then one more item to, update on the forensic audit is, would that be considered old business?
are you prepared for that? Okay, perfect. C, forensic audit. Yes, that'll be item C, and I'll go back over. So council, if you would listen, item C is added to old business, discussion and update on the forensic audit provided by Attorney Wiley. B, update on Nouveau Repair, that will be up under new business. And then item B, council to consider a memorandum of understanding on the economic development report. I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda with said changes.
Motion to approve the agenda with said changes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you so very much. At this time, we do have a proclamation recognizing Black History Month, and we will have this for our records. Whereas Black History Month is observed, Shelby, run around. Yeah. Whereas Black History Month is observed each February as a time to honor, celebrate the rich heritage, achievement, and contributions of Black Americans throughout nation's history. And whereas the story of Black history is a story of resilience, creativity, leadership, and unwavering pursuit of justice, shaping every aspect of American life, including culture, science, education, business, public service, and the ongoing fight for civil rights. And whereas it is essential to recognize and uplift the voices and legacies of Black trailblazers, visionaries, and everyday individuals whose impact has helped build and strengthen our communities. And whereas Black History Month serves not only as a celebration of historical accomplishments, but also as a reminder of the work that remains to advance equity, opportunity, inclusion for all. Whereas we commit to fostering a community where diversity is honored, dignity is respected, and all people are empowered to thrive. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Danya L. Sarter, Mayor of the City of Jonesboro, along with Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, do hereby proclaim February as Black History Month. I encourage all individuals, organizations, and communities to engage in events, learning opportunities, and moments of reflection that celebrate Black history and the contributions of Black Americans, past, present, and future. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused a proclamation to be recognized on this 9th day of February 2026. Thank you so much. At this time, I do want to give a special recognition. I was so excited to see this, and he didn't share this with anyone, but join me in congratulating Councilman Alfred Dixon. He has been joined, he is part of the 2026 Game Changers. Georgia Forward's Young Game Changers is a unique and proven leadership action program that gathers 45 of Georgia's brightest young minds, I know you was that young, Mr. Councilman Dixon, to develop creative and viable recommendations for one community. This year, they'll be working in Hinesville, Liberty County. This is indeed a prestigious honor. I would encourage you to look at georgiaforward.org and see he's in great company, and so that is something to be extremely proud of, and I want to publicly congratulate him on this accomplishment.
I appreciate that recognition. I definitely look forward to bringing everything back that we learned right back here to Jonesboro. So thank you again.
No, thank you. I think other than Councilwoman Gutierrez, that's the only one in Clayton County. I didn't see anyone else.
Yes, that's the only other one in Clayton County.
From Forest Park. So again, if I was a couple years younger, I could join, but I'm gonna let you have it. All right, so that's all for our presentation. At this time, we'll have public comment. Your public comment will be have to be given within three minutes max time limit to speak before the mayor and council. Comments must be limited to matters on the agenda or over matters which the governing body has jurisdiction. Speakers must maintain decorous and demeanor and refrain from personal attacks against the mayor and council. We have two people for public comment. Terry Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, this is North Lake Drive in Jonesboro?
No.
Is this North Lake Drive in Jonesboro?
No, ma'am.
Who's Terry? Are you Terry Mitchell?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you 5809 North Lake?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it's Morrow. That's what I was going to say. Okay. What's your zip code?
30260.
There you go. How you doing today, Mr. Mitchell?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
My name is Terry Michener. Sorry. Good evening. Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Terry Michener. I'm an intern for Councilman Alfred Dixon, and I look forward to working with you all to achieve your initiatives. And I just want to thank y'all for providing the opportunity for students in the community. And yeah,
Good job. Are you a student?
yes, ma'am.
Where?
Clayton State.
Okay, well, congratulations. We look forward to working with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kendra Emeron? Emero. Hi, Kendra. Ms. Kendra, you didn't give me your address.
Sure.
2210 Chase Lake Drive, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, council. Hello, mayor. Thank you for having me tonight. I did want to come up here and just give some of my comments and thank you all for the conversations that we have been having about JYCG and JYCG's budget. Thank you for the concerns that was brought by Ms. Kearney as well about our membership, with a lot of them not being in the city of Jonesboro. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. And we did just want to make a statement that as Jonesboro as a whole, when we're having any kind of events, we're making sure we're servicing all citizens. And all citizens don't reside in the city of Jonesboro. So we didn't think that we needed to limit our teens' involvement or our youth involvement just to being in the city of Jonesboro as that a factor for them to be funded. So I did just want to address that we did hear you, but we just wanted to come with the answer followed behind that. And we do thank you guys for continuously addressing our budget with JYCG. We know we have talked about it over and over and over, but at the same time, this is leadership. And that's what we are trying to make sure that we ingrain with our youth on when they have an issue or they have a concern or they just want to do something, how to do it. And even when the answer is no, how to come with a counter offer. And even with legislation, we have to teach them, you may not get exactly what you want, but you know how to compromise. And it takes that. So thank you for one, being the epitome that they can see and that they can know in following your steps. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra. Madam Clerk, at this time, we'll go into our public hearing considerations.
Yes. Letter A, public hearing regarding variance application 25 VAR 001, submitted by Max Coofton for properties located 262 and 294 South Main Street. Parcel numbers 06032A, B002, 06032A, B002Z, and 06032A, B006, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, within the mixed-use district and the Gateway South District. The properties consist of 29.14 plus or minus acres. The request seeks relief from Gateway South District's exterior, architectural design, and materials standards specifically related to porches and balconies.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Following last week's work session, the applicant did provide the requested information in which they outlined the number of porches, balconies, balconies, patios, and units without patios for the particular development. And I just wanted to make one correction to the condition for the record. The condition should read, the development shall be constructed in substantially conformance with the conceptual rendering presented to the City Council on February 2nd, 2026. The total number of dwelling units shall not exceed 196, consisting of 147 units with balconies, 29 units with patios, and 20 interior units without patios. Any modifications to the building elevations or unit configuration shall require additional approval from the mayor and council. And that's the only update regarding this item.
Is there anyone here to speak on that public hearing? I'll now consider that public hearing closed. Council, I'll entertain a motion for approval with said condition.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you.
Is it approved with conditions?
Approved with condition
said
that's stated.
conditions,
I'm sorry. Item B, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Public hearing regarding variance application 25 VAR 003, submitted by Max Coofton for properties located at 262 and 294 South Main Street. Parcel numbers 06032A, B002, 06032A, B002Z, and 06032A, B006, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, within the mixed-use district and the Gateway South District. The properties consist of 29.14 plus or minus acres. The request seeks relief from the Gateway South District exterior architectural design and material standards specifically related to sidewalks.
You want to speak on that? Or your recommendation from there?
Yes, staff is recommending approval with this particular item.
No conditions?
Yes, there's one condition, and it didn't change from last week.
Is there anyone here to speak for that public hearing? I'll now consider that closed. Council, I entertain a motion to approve with the one stipulated condition.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right. Next on the agenda?
Letter C, public hearing regarding conditional use permit application 25 CUP 009 submitted by Max Clifton for property located at 262 and 294 South Main Street. Parcels number 06032A, B002, 06032A, B002Z, and 06032A, B003, and 06032A, B006. Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236, with the mixed-use district and the Gateway South District. The properties consist of 29.14 plus or minus acres. The request is for a multifamily development.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff is recommending approval of this item with the two conditions listed in the packet.
Is there anyone? Is there anyone here to speak on this public hearing? Is there anyone here to speak on this public hearing? I'll now consider this public hearing closed. I'll entertain a motion for approval with the stated conditions.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, thank you so very much. All right, let's move to approval of minutes. We'll approve each set of we'll approve everything separately.
Council to consider approval of the special call council meeting minutes dated December 16, 2025.
Council, I'll entertain a motion to approve the special call council meetings dated 12/16/2025 if there are no changes.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Next, council to consider approval of the work session minutes dated January 5th, 2026.
Council, I entertain a motion to approve if there's no edits or additions to the work session minutes dated 1/5/2026.
So made.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so much. Madam
Next,
Clerk?
council to consider approval of the council retreat minutes dated January 9th, 2026.
Council, I entertain a motion to approve council retreat minutes from 1/9/2026 if there's no additions or edits.
So made, Mayor.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, you can still approve them, but that's fine. Go ahead. Item D.
Council to consider approval of the regular council meeting minutes dated January 12th, 2026.
Council, you have minutes before you. I'll entertain a motion to approve regular council minutes dated 1/12/2026 if there are no edits or additions.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so much, council. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. If there's no changes to it, I'll entertain a motion to accept the 4 items on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so very much. Now we'll move on to old business.
Council to consider the city's revised procurement policy and ordinance And on this one, Mayor, we had in our packet last meeting, where is that? You have that? The procurement packet.
That's a new one?
Yes.
So the last meeting, as Madam Clerk mentioned, we went over on the screen the City of Jonesboro, Georgia procurement policies, if y'all recall. And I sent you all a copy of the presentation as presented. There is one change that was made at that hearing, at last week's meeting. And on page 9, for purchases between $2,500 and $9,999.99. The approving entities are the department director and the city manager, and instead of council. So that change was made. So before you tonight is the approval of the policy, these policies, and in addition to the ordinance that is within your packet. The ordinance changes the sections 2-153 through 2-158 that currently exist in the city's procurement code, so that it will align nicely with your policy, so that the procurement policies and the zoning ordinance, the procurement ordinance are in sync. And so we're asking for your approval of these two items in conjunction with one another.
Council, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You want to wait until the motion?
Is there a motion? Anybody ready to make a motion?
Okay.
You can go for your question.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Were you making a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any discussion, Council? Mayor Pro Tem?
We had this procurement policy created through the grant that we received with the help of the entity that we utilize, right? I can't recall her name.
Alliance.
Did she put council, the change that was made, did she put that change or was it a typo? Because if we hire her and she thought that it should be department and city council, are we the ones making that change against the recommendation by the
No,
woman
that was
we hired, or was it a typo?
She's talking about on the chart. Those the first two columns should have been, and if you read the text, I wish we had the preliminary draft. But no, that was in there before. Hold on one second.
And if you'll remember, Mayor Pro Tem, I had it highlighted last week on the screen because it did not make sense that something as small as a $2,500 to less than $10,000 procurement would require city council approval, but the next one up to $50,000 did not. So I just ascertained that that was a typo, and that the first, that particular, anything between $2,500 and less than $10,000 would not come to city council for approval. Only things that are $50,000 and above come to city council for approval, looking at page 9 on this policy. So I believe it was a typo from the
And if you look at
entity.
item 6, it was spelled out there for purchase order. So the limits were a lot higher, and we brought them all down to the size of our budget. But if you see number 6, all POs must be approved by the department director, the city manager, and if over $10,000.
Oh, yeah. So we believe it was just a singular typo. And if y'all also know that in the ordinance itself, it's in your packet, that we included, and I mentioned this last week, that in the absence of a city manager, then the mayor would be the chief procurement officer. That would be the next highest, the position of mayor is the CEO anyway, and I know that currently we don't have a city manager, so in order to make this ordinance work, we need to have a person designated in the absence of a city manager.
Didn't we speak about that person being a finance?
Yes, this is and the ordinance is proposed as the city, as the mayor. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention because the policy does not do that. So I didn't get a consensus, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, last week. I think I just named and made a suggestion. I put this suggestion in the actual ordinance itself for you all to discuss, but I would be remiss if I didn't point that out to y'all.
I mean, let me also add, nothing can be approved for any amount if it's not allocated funding in that line item. So, for example, if we're trying to fund something for 10,000, even though I would have approval to do it, if it's only 5,000 in that line item, I couldn't approve it until I came before council to make the budget adjustment, to make sure that line item has enough in there. So that's what it kind of speaks to on one of these pages. I forgot which one. So where, I just saw it. Any other discussion?
Mayor.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem.
No,
I'm sorry, Mayor. Councilwoman Messer. I said I was gonna get a sticky note.
it's okay, that was the last position held, so either's appropriate. I did have a few questions concerning the procedure. So under purchasing levels and processes in section 4, I would like to see added council approval for the 10 to 49,999 level. To me, that would keep council in check with anything going over $10,000. That's outside the scope of the budget.
You said that's outside the scope of the budget?
Well, if it's within the budget, line items within a budget, like within, say, the police department, can be moved without, that's within their budget. But the 10,000 to 49,999 should be council approval. I feel like waiting until it hits $50,000 to come to the council for approval, I think that's way too much money.
Okay, so,
Especially with the city, it's listing as the city manager would have approval to approve that much money without coming to council first. And I feel like that needs to come before council.
okay, so we just changed that to council. The 10,000 to 49,999.99 to council. Now,
It would be city manager and council or just council?
well, I think it needs to be approved by the city manager to get to the council, so that the directors aren't taking it there, so it'll be all three.
So it'll be the same as 10 to 50,000, anything, so anywhere from 10 to $50,000 would require department directors, city manager, and council.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of, I'm trying to think of expenses that we had. I think we're okay with, well, I don't know, how much was the gas expense, chief? Was it over 10,000? That's what I'm worried about, but it's a clause in here in case of emergency, that we can go over that. Okay, that's fine.
Normal, just gasoline purchases?
No, we had a gas leak and required like immediate repair, so, and there's a clause in here for emergency situations, so we wouldn't have to convene a meeting or something like that. Okay,
Mayor,
yes.
I had a few more.
Oh, go ahead, I'm
Not many-
sorry.
Not many more. Item 9, add city council to be consulted for approval of over $10,000. And that's under administrative structure and authority, section 3. It's falling into the same premises.
So right now, I want to make sure we're doing this correct and working on my Robert's Rule of Order. She's recommending changes, but we already have a motion on the floor that's been appropriately seconded, so we can only hear as discussion, but not necessarily make changes unless the person that made the motion is willing to change to accommodate the changes.
That's correct.
Okay.
So yes, any friendly suggestions towards revisions to what has been the motion and seconded will have required the motion and the second to be properly revised as well.
So are you listening to the revisions that's coming from over here, in case you decide to revise your motion? Okay,
Mayor, just.
keep going.
I have another suggestion. I have some questions. So, under purchasing orders, section 6, purchasing orders over 10,000, I think need council approval.
Section 6.
Okay.
And my next question, I have questions concerning the P-card program. So is this like a credit or debit card? Or
It's
is
the
this
credit
something
card,
that-
and just so you know, the P-card purchase program is, because right now, currently, as long as we've had purchase cards, and P-cards are considered our visas and anything that we make a purchase with, a line of credit.
Okay, so with the P-cards, would they be attached directly to city accounts? Or is this something that would be internal, and then the financial director or our financial consultants at this point would allocate?
Explain that, say that one more time, I'm not really understanding.
Okay, so the P-cards, will they be like debit cards directly to the city accounts through the bank? Or will they be going through the financial director, and then the financial director will ultimately allocate and send to you and Mayor Pro Tem for approval of
No.
funds?
This is for us, for usage, like if we go to Home Depot, if we buy salt, it's like for us to go out and use. Am I understanding this correct? The P card is our purchase card, which in our case is a Visa through Truist.
Correct.
So is it a credit or a debit card?
It's a credit card.
It's a credit card.
Yeah, it's no access to cash.
So will it be paid off monthly so we don't accrue interest on this?
Yes, Mayor Pro, yes, yes, yes. I mean, it's on a billing cycle like any other bills.
Okay.
So, I mean, sometimes we catch it, it depends on when they come in, sometimes it just depends, but we try our best to pay it within 30 days. It's a credit card, you got a credit card? And so you know how they come in, they got a date you gotta pay it before you, so, yeah.
Okay. And then I think that the council, as well as the mayor, should be provided a list of who's holding P cards, so that we know who has access to spending money. And then I wanted to know
That
about
list is up,
training.
how many times have you provided that for?
I'm sorry?
That's why, make a list, we have a list and we have a checkout system, so, I know we've provided before, but provide it again.
I've never seen a list.
Yes, we emailed it last year.
You requested it last year.
I'm sorry?
You requested it last year and we sent it to you.
Okay. Okay, well, we've had changes since last year. so-
Yeah, I don't think the
And
list
the
has
new
changed.
council wasn't here last year, so they probably.
But they didn't ask
benefit
for
from
it,
that as
but
well.
go ahead.
Right. And training on this, for the new system, for the procurement system? will
So
the
we
staff
haven't-
Be trained on that, and will the council be included, and will that be online or in person?
We're not sure because we're still determining. We go for next week. We go to Birmingham with the Federal Reserve Bank, so we have not selected our programming for procurement yet
Okay.
that we're going to purchase.
So we don't have a set date for this procedure to go into place?
No, we don't have, we have a set date when this is approved. The actual procurement, we're still looking into. So right now, I can't say there's not a system. The funding will allow us to purchase a system for procurement to reconcile. And we just have not selected one yet to determine whether it's going to go through Tyler or not.
So we don't know how much it'll be?
No, we don't, but it'll come back before you all if it's over $10,000.
Okay, okay. And then will all the activity from the P cards be in our monthly financial report?
It typically is not in that report, but if it's open records, so if you ever did an open records request, you could get it. Isn't that open records? Transactions on credit cards?
Yes, ma'am, it is open records, however, it'll have to be redacted because the card number can't be
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Fine,
say.
not the card
shown.
numbers,
But
just the
normally you
activity.
don't,
Well, the
normally
activity
it's
is on the
not part of the
statement.
monthly financial reports, but
I'll talk to her when she gets back. You all have had them before. But yeah, we have to just redact certain things off of it.
Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, almost done. I apologize. Under risk management, section 5, the city manager should present to mayor and council any changes or delegations in processes and procedures. It reads as if the city manager can make changes without consulting the mayor or the council, and I think we need better verbiage on that and better clarity.
What page are you on?
Risk management, section 5, section 19.1.
Is that toward the back? Section 5?
Yes, ma'am.
That's petty cash requisitions.
I'm sorry, this is referencing the original that we were given last week, so let me see. It's under risk management.
Okay, anybody find that?
Yeah, this has really changed.
No, the only thing that changed was that one graph. It might have been printed different. Okay, item 19, I see 19, you said 19 point. Risk management and internal controls.
I don't have a 19.5. What is it in reference to? Risk management?
Mayor, what is it in reference to? Like, what's the
Okay,
the
main
very bottom.
subheading, the main heading?
Hold on one second, yeah, go ahead, Mayor. Councilwoman Messick.
That very bottom paragraph of 19.1, the city manager shall have the authority to implement processes and procedures to ensure compliance with the section. before the city manager makes changes, I just think the mayor and the council should.
So this doesn't indicate changes. It said they should have the authority to implement process and procedures. And that's with any process or procedure that we have in place. The city manager has the authority to implement. It didn't say change, it didn't say anything. It says we have to have somebody on site to implement and to follow the processes. So that's exactly what this says. Implement processes and procedures to ensure compliance.
Okay, my last question is under the same section, item B, in lieu of a financial director, which we don't have, we have financial consultant right now. Have these procedures been shared with our current contracted financial advisors? I believe that's Jack's Tax, Ms. Karen.
Yes, she's
And does
reviewed
this
it.
fall in line with our current contract or with them, or do we need, upon approval, to amend their contract? And will that have an increase in cost?
No.
So no, it won't have an increase in cost?
No, so
or-
if you go back and look at her scope is, this isn't something new. This is a cleaner, we have something, but it has no teeth in it. And so she's responsible for every role in that. And so this is consistent with her current job description.
So has she seen this and
Yeah.
agreed that this would be in line with what we've already, because we have her under contract. I just want to make sure that we're not expecting more or less than what we've already contracted with her to do.
I don't think it.
I don't really understand what you're
This is
saying.
not
This is not impacting her
inconsistent
work.
with
yeah.
what the contracted finance director does for the city. This just puts guardrails and processes in place, which I'm sure she appreciates. It will make her job easier.
Mayor,
Yes.
you ready for me?
Thank you.
I don't have questions. Well, I mean, I think Councilwoman Messick did a great job asking the questions. I just don't think that we should approve this right now. I think that this needs to be tabled because we were only given a week to review this, and some changes, I agree with some of the changes that does. It should say council rather than city manager, because we don't have a city manager in place. So all power is default to mayor. And I think council just should be a little bit involved in that process, especially in the absence of a city manager.
Okay. Was that a question?
I mean, I didn't know
No,
if
it wasn't a
oh,
question.
I think it was
It
just
was
point
more
of
so a
discussion.
statement. Yeah,
Point of
we're in
discussion for the
discussion,
governing
correct?
body.
This is consistent with
Ma'am.
DMA too, so if you go look in DMA. Yes. Ms.
I would just like to
Councilman.
ask, the motion, the person that made the motion to amend their motion to table until we've had time to review the suggestions.
No, I don't want to amend my motion to table. So you had specific things that you wanted to change. So I just want to make sure that we can apply those changes if necessary, if the council wants to look over those. So what were the specific things? I think you had like 2 or 3.
It was a lot of them. Let's see if the motion will pass, and then if not, then we can go in and start breaking it
Okay.
down. So there's-
And I only say that because when I was looking through the procurement policy, I pretty much compared it to that of the city of Atlanta's, and ours is actually a little bit more strict than the state even, makes us have to be. And I mean, I think that's a good thing because that's just us making our own policy, like here in Jonesboro. So I do think that it's a good procurement policy, so.
And also, she compared this she used Georgia Municipal Association as a resource. She also used similar cities, not of our size, because there are cities of our size that has much smaller budgets, and cities of our size that have larger budgets. So she looked at size, but then she also looked at the size of budgets. And again, to put more teeth in what was, because right now it's just loose. So it's cleaning it up. Mayor Pro Tem mentioned about certain controls going back into the finance director, and that's what we don't want to do. That's the practice of approval outside of that is because the finance director has control and access to everything, so it's usually someone outside of the finance for our oversight layer there. So there's a motion bill on the floor, it's been appropriately seconded.
No, Mayor,
Yes.
if I can I hear Councilwoman Messick's revisions?
Yeah. I think one of them was, I know the first one was going back to the chart on page 9. The 10,000 to 49,999 to department director, city manager, and council.
Mayor?
And the other one wasn't really a change, it was an interpretation of, something that was said.
So just to be clear, so that's in the absence of a city manager that these come before mayor and council.
Well, then the city's at a standstill. Because everything can't, because if the city manager's not there, then I approve it. Based on these.
But it's her revision asking that.
No, her visit in that third column, it didn't have council, so we added council to that third column for approvals. So anything between 10,000 to a little less than 50,000 would have to come before council unless it's an emergency situation or emergency repair over $10,000.
Okay.
Do you see that? So council is added, so just add the word "and council." Council.
All right,
Can you? Yeah. Okay.
So I want to amend my motion for any bids, proposals, and forms, that section, if it's between $10,000 to $49,999.99 for number 2, the contract as appropriate and approved by city manager and city council.
Correct. All right, there's a motion on the floor. It's been appropriately second. All in favor?
Aye.
The second revised included the correction of the addition of council to approvals.
Okay.
Are you okay with that addition?
Yeah, I'm okay with that addition and revision. Was that all of the revisions that?
Was that all of it?
I just wanted to make sure.
The rest of them was just, I think she wanted clarification on something. That sentence about, and the risk management.
Can we ask Councilwoman Messick, was that all the revisions?
That's what 19.
Can you wait until I acknowledge y'all? Because we trying to keep it tight,
Mayor, yes, that was the biggest one, is to have council approval for $10,000 and over. But also, I mentioned item 9, the city council to be consulted for approval over $10,000 under administrative structure and authority, which would be in the same ballpark, but yet it's stated differently in the policy in this procedure.
Microphone.
tight. 8.1.
Mayor?
No, that was 18.
Quick question. Councilwoman Messick, you said you want things approved at the city council level for under $10,000 as well, or you're just saying
At 10,000.
anything above $10,000, it's just in a different section? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so we want to make sure that it's consistent throughout
Okay, gotcha.
everything. So the record will reflect it, and then we'll go back and correct it for the ordinance. All right, so there's a motion on the floor. It's been appropriately second. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so very much, council. I want to also give a thank you. This is outside of her domain, but thank you to Mrs. Faith for working really hard. Next week, we will be at a 3-day training and hopefully get us a really good procurement system and start moving forward. We're excited about that, and especially since it's going to be funded initially by the grant. Thank you so much. Thank you, council.
Next item, council to consider approval and adoption of ordinance 2026-01 to adopt FY26 budget for each fund to the city of Jonesboro.
Do we have a motion for approval? Nobody want to approve the budget? Okay, we'll go to the next item. We have no approved budget.
You want to call for that again?
I'll entertain a motion at this time to approve an adoption of ordinance 2026-01 to adopt the fiscal year 2026 budget for each fund to the city of Jonesboro.
Madam Mayor and Council, your charter requires that you approve a budget each year. It's in your charter. And in the event one is not done, then you continue operating under an expired budget. And I'll remind Mayor and Council that you had the hearings, the public hearings, preceding today's requested action.
Okay, so we can go, so no budget, we'll go to the next one. Shelby. Okay. Yeah, I know, council to staff meeting for tomorrow. All right, next on the agenda, can you give us an update on the forensic audit? What happened to y'all? No, but we had it all week. Okay, yeah. What purpose? Hold on one second.
You know, and I was just about to say something, you know, understanding that we definitely need to make a move on this budget. I was looking at the budget that is presented, and if council would be open to this motion of approving the budget with the amendments to the JYCG budget to reflect 15 and the 3,000 coming from the city events line item. That'll be my motion for tonight.
Can you identify the line item, just for the record?
Who got the budget thing?
The line item that we would
My
take
budget's not in here.
$3,000 from would be line 58.
Okay.
That'll be the city events line item. $3,000, and that'll go towards
sorry.
the line item number 10 to the youth city council line item to make it 15,000.
So we're gonna add to the 15,000?
I'm just looking at what's presented. I'm not sure. I'm just looking at what's in this notebook right here.
It's proposed 12, Madam Mayor, on line 10, and the motion was the request is to take $3,000 from line 58.
Yes, ma'am.
And then that would bring 58 down from 70 to 67, and that would bring line 10 from 12 to 15.
Okay, why don't we just make line 10, 15,000, leave city events alone, and I'll have her to balance, we can pull, $3,000 from economic development Main Street and bring that down to 12,000. That way the budget is still balanced. So JCC gets additional 3,000, which brings it to 15,000. The city event stays the same at 70, and then the Main Street goes from 15 to 12,000, and we still have a balanced budget.
For the record, Madam Mayor, so that, could you say what line numbers?
Okay, I'm sorry.
So that people can follow.
So
and
we'll
be able to
bring
trace it.
line item 1,352, 3420, no, that's the wrong one. 1,352, 3450 for youth council. We're gonna bring that to 15,000. And then we will take 3,000, we will lower, on the second page, it's line 87, if you're looking at the Excel spreadsheet. We're bringing the Main Street from 15,000 to 12,000, that way we can keep the budget balanced.
Is that necessary?
Yeah. I mean, we want to get the youth government, so they got theirs. I want to keep the city events, which is at large, the same. And then we can lower Main Street because we can always support Main Street through the city events if we need to. And then therefore the budget is still balanced. Did I do my math right? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Like I said, I wanted to pull it from city events. Of course, I value that line item, you know, with all my heart. But definitely wanted to respect the, you know, the economic development and Main Street departments that we have within the city as well.
Are y'all okay with that? They're good with it.
Okay.
They didn't have nothing, so 12,000 is good.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
that keeps the budget balanced.
Thank you.
I would like to add something, Mayor.
Is there a motion and a second to?
Well, I think we got some more
is there a
changes to the
motion
budget.
To make the second, to have the discussion to make the changes. or y'all just discussing
Let's
first?
just make the changes, and then once the changes are agreed on, I mean, is that not, which way would you like me to do it? 'Cause
You-
won't nobody
the
make a
motion-
budget, won't nobody make the motion, that's why I say either make the motion to not adopt it, and then we discuss, or make a motion to adopt it, and we discuss. The fact that we don't have a motion really means the item should be tabled, and there shouldn't be any discussion, am I correct?
No, you can put it back, you can bring it back in this meeting.
I can bring it back
Same
now,
meeting,
but with,
yes.
I can bring it back without a motion?
Well, I think what I understood Councilman Alfred Dixon saying was that he was going to make a motion. He made his motion, and he said where the money wanted to come from, where he wanted the money to come from. I don't know if you agree with the mayor. Is that your motion? And then we need a second.
So yeah, if that's okay with our downtown development authority in Main Street, to instead of removing the $3,000 from the city events line number 58 and taking it from line number 88, then I'll amend that motion.
And so
Okay.
we'll need a second. Your motion has never been seconded, and then we can continue with the discussion, Madam Mayor.
Second.
Okay. All right. So there's a motion on the floor to approve the current fiscal year 26 budget to include a change simply on youth city government going to 15,000 and Main Street going to 12,000. Yes, Councilwoman.
Is this discussion?
Yes,
Yes.
discussion. Mhm.
I understand what you said, Mayor, about when I contacted you about the newsletter, the community wants the newsletter. I would like to see that line item increase from 3,000. They want the monthly newsletter.
All right, how much you want to go to?
If we can do that that's why I asked for the numbers as to how much it would be to mail out the monthly mailers, to get that started possibly January, February, March, at least in May. So how much do you think it would be from May to December to go ahead and fund that line item?
I'm not sure. Postage sometimes it's metered, so sometimes it runs from $600 to $800, and that's not including printing. So just give me a number.
10,000 would be fine.
All right, so let's go find 7,000 from somewhere else.
Which line item are you revising?
For the newsletter?
Yes, ma'am.
For the newsletter, it went up to 10,000.
Which number? Which,
Uh,
on the
give me
Excel?
one moment, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the first page is line 10.
So line 10 is the youth council. So
Councilman,
line 9 is the newsletter.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bentley, where is our city staff initiatives in here?
73.
Thank you. We can bring that down to, we just went up from 3 to 10, that's 7. So we can bring that down to, I would propose bringing that down to 15,000. That takes 5,000, and then dropping the city events to 68,000, so we can remain in a balanced budget. How's everybody feeling about that?
Can you say that one more time? Just wanted to make
I
sure.
brought the special events, which is like our city initiatives, staff initiatives,
Line,
line 73, down to 15,000, which is what we had last year. And then that means we only have $2,000 that we need to account for to keep the budget balanced. And then I took the 2,000 from city events down to 68,000.
line 58.
Line 58. So if you're okay with that, Councilman Dixon, would you amend your motion to include those changes as well? Does he have to restate them all the time, or?
No, that's why it's important just to keep the record clear. That's on the line. I think Madam Clerk, did we get them?
Yes.
Okay, so we're good.
would-
He doesn't need to restate them if you want to amend your motion and then amend your second to include those items. And I've kept up, so it will be line 10, line 9 newsletter will be increased from $3,000 to $10,000. Line 10, youth council will be increased from 12,000 to 15,000. Sorry, Councilwoman Dixon. Line 58 on the Excel spreadsheet will be reduced from 70 to 68. And line 73, special events, will be reduced from 20,000 to 15,000.
Correct.
And lastly, line 87 will be reduced from 15,000 to 12,000.
Correct.
Those are the changes.
I'm gonna start here. Any other budget changes on this side? Yes. Mm-hmm.
I know last meeting we talked about finding a way to address the overtime issue with Public Works. I don't know if we did that and where that money came from or was allocated to. And then, in thinking of the staff as well, I know we did the 4% raise, but the individual staff members that accomplish certain things, certificates and things like that, that are due a raise because they have increased their level of education on their subject matter, do we have a pot for that?
Some of that's already included. I'm glad you asked that, but some of that's already included. And let me just say this is our starting point. When there's a need for additional purchase, when there's a need for, like, we can't account for any promotion, like, say, the police department. So we'll just come back for you all and look at cost savings across and make those adjustments. So it's really kind of hard to project, and I don't want to hold up budget money, and there's not a promotion. But when it gets to the time where it needs to be a promotion, we would look at the budget and make budget amendments, or go to our contingency.
That already need to have one.
They're not right now.
Okay.
Well, one, and that's already in here. Mm-hmm. One person has been waiting for the budget to be approved, and that's in there. And that's our court. All right, so everybody's clear on this side?
Mm-hmm.
All right, over here. All right, there's a motion on the floor. It's been appropriately second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, we got a budget. So we can have a staff meeting tomorrow. We're gonna have a budget cutting party tomorrow. All righty.
Next item.
Forensic discussion?
Thank you. I don't have any notes. I was looking for notes, but we added that. So my update is largely going to be a recounting of the conversation that I had with the accountant at Plant Moran, which is whom this council authorized in 2024 to conduct a forensic audit. The bill that came in, there was a $15,000 initial payment that was made and paid to Plant Moran and for phase 1. Phase 2, that bill came in with just for $45,000, give or take, and I think I'm accurate, for phase 2. At the direction of the mayor, we called to ask for an itemization of that bill, just so that for transparency purposes, this body, the citizens, can see what the audit firm did to accumulate $45,000 worth of city funds. And I was told that we don't do that. We don't give itemized bills. They stopped doing that about 10 years ago. I asked, how could they account for that? They said, we don't keep bills like attorneys do. I understand that. We keep bills the way lawyers do minute by minute for some of our billings. However, I said, well, in lieu of doing something similar to what a lawyer does, just give us, like, on this date I spoke to this person, on this date I reviewed this grant, I reviewed these records, and I still got a no. I did ask tongue-in-cheek the question, so are you saying that the city council, mayor and council are just supposed to get a report from you in the end and then assume that what you did was worth whatever the final amount is? And they said yes. So I don't think I'm getting an itemized bill for what they did. I will also state that when I inquired about the scope of the audit, I was told that the first $15,000 went to developing the scope, which was odd to me because normally if you have a forensic audit, you give them, go look at ABC. According to the accountant handling this project, I was told that the first $15,000 involved talking to individual elected officials and getting their concerns and then
from there, the audit firm developed a plan of work, a plan of action. I don't know what that is. She still didn't tell me what that is. She did say that she was going to be through sometime towards the end of February, and that in addition to the $45,000 that's pending, that there will probably be another $45,000 to $60,000 being asked, for a total of over, I can't do the math.
$100,000.
But there would not be any itemization of billing to explain or demonstrate the work corresponding with the amount that they're charging you. That is it. The last thing I'll say, I asked her what were the different scopes. I was told initially that the information was privileged, attorney-client privilege. I explained that no, this audit is not privileged, that every document, every interview, every note that they took in preparation with this audit will be a public record. And so we'll get to see that at least when we ask for it. Just for the public, whenever a contractor is doing work with or pursuant to a contract with a public entity, unless it's an attorney or unless it's something that's privileged, then that information that everything related to that contract is a public document. I think they were under the impression that it was not, but I clarified with them that it is not privileged. Nothing that was generated in conjunction with this audit will be privileged. And that's all I have, y'all. That's the update. And at this point, I'm just waiting to see what they'll produce. I'm not sure. The $45,000 invoice has not been paid because there's no indication of what they did, to my knowledge.
And thank you. Let me also add some things. I asked Michelle, trying to pull up the emails, I asked her in November when we got the first bill, in October, and I have that email, to provide an itemized copy. So she knew the expectation was an itemized copy, and why they continue to refuse to give one. So what it is a bill that says 92 hours, $45,000. Even on the contractual agreement, if you all were to look at that, it says that, you remember they gave us a list of different, if this person does it, it's $400 an hour, and so they agreed that it would be a medium. And even if you multiply the medium hourly rate times the 91, it doesn't get to $45,000. So I'm not sure if they're holding on to this. I don't know if they're holding on to this because they're waiting up to get paid. I'm not sure, but I am not accustomed to paying non-itemized bills, and I don't feel like we should get in the practice of doing such. I don't know what they've done. $100,000, and we're still 6 months, and they have not asked anything of us since November. So we have provided everything. Maria, do you remember the visit? Was it in November or October when they came and sat up there for Ms. Bentley? Late October. They have not asked us to produce anything since October, and we still don't have a forensic report. But I am happy to say that we will be able to get every note, every documentation from all the interviews with all the previous council members that shared what their concerns were privately. Any other questions on that?
Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Messick.
Yes, could we get a copy of the original agreement and get a copy of that to each new council member and the city council that was originally assigned? Because
I think I have it. I'll forward it.
I don't recall, I believe she was supposed to be giving us regular updates through the city attorney. And those results would come to us and to the mayor. But the mayor and ourselves we were excluded from contacting Plant Moran.
No, we weren't
during this
excluded.
process.
I was excluded from discussing it, but I have to sign off on her money. So the only discussion that you're hearing me say is in regard to a bill. And so the attorney's not authorized to pay a bill. I am. So I am not, and can you please say for the record that I have not discussed the thing?
No.
I have deferred it to her. She sends the bills to me. I started the conversation with Attorney Dreyer saying, per our email in November, I have requested itemized, and so there's a chain of emails going back between Attorney Dreyer and I. And then I don't think I've spoken to Michelle. Did I speak to Michelle? No, I think I deferred. Then I transferred it over to Attorney Wiley the first of the year, and she spoke. So let's just be clear. Councilwoman Messick. I am not discussing her, but there's no one else authorized to discuss her payment but me.
So, just to echo what the mayor said, I received from Mr. Dryer, former city attorney, the bills or the mayor sent them to me and said, please ask her, Michelle, if she can give us itemized billings. I made that call to her. Well, actually, I emailed her and asked her for the billings, and she indicated no. So I then requested a telephone conversation with her because I wasn't understanding why we couldn't get, at least the city couldn't see what was being done to justify the $45,000. And that's the conversation I just reiterate to you is what she told me. She did break down that she was looking at grants, accounts payable from 2022 through 2024. And they were judgmentally selecting transactions. And the example I was given was if they looked and saw something from Apple, then they would determine, oh, well, that's odd. And then they would go and pull the documentation for that Apple transaction. They didn't really have a rhyme or reason. She just said they judgmentally selected some transactions from those 3 years. And I just left the conversation really confused about what the scope was and what they're doing and why I still can't understand why we can't get an itemized bill, at least to show how many witnesses you talked to or how many documents you reviewed. And all I was told was you'll get it, all you will get is a final report. And I will look at, Councilwoman Messick, I think I looked at the contracts, but I will look to see if there's some obligation for some interim reporting, and I will follow up with her tomorrow if that is the case, and I'll send it to Mayor and Council as you've requested.
Yes, if you could send everyone the original contract so that
Yes,
everyone
ma'am.
can be aware of the contract we entered into, because that doesn't sound like the original contract. I think there's some provisions in there that are
Okay.
not being followed through, and I know you just got hold of this.
Yeah, I did.
So you did. So with our previous city attorney, I had requested for him multiple times
Okay.
to contact them and to be sending us updates at least on a monthly basis.
Have y'all gotten them
And
before?
that was not followed through. I did
She's
get a
not
few
providing
updates.
them.
I did get through updates from Mr. Dryer, and I can forward you those emails that he sent to me. But it took a long time for him to forward that information.
Yeah.
And then it was very limited. So they're definitely, we need to look at the scope of work that we're paying them for. And yeah, I think anyone can they should be able to show us what we're paying them for. That shouldn't be a problem.
And that it's like, that was my experience, that it was very tight-lipped. She didn't really want to give a lot of information on what she was doing. I just couldn't understand. So we were on the phone for over 90 minutes, just going around trying to get information. Really nice lady.
Oh, yeah.
But dearth on information, just not a lot of information was forthcoming.
And I do want to add that on 11/4, I advised Mrs. Kennedy, the finance director at that time, to communicate to her about the billable hours, and she said your invoice numbered 104 didn't contain billable hours. It only contained a retainer. I've been asked about billable hours for Plant Moran. The ask was from me. Will the $20,000 charged on the invoice be applied to billable hours for Phase 2? And going forward, will all invoices reference billable hours with explanations for those hours? And they continue to refuse. All she did, her response was, a retainer is only a deposit for the engagement and will be applied to the last invoice of the project. So we paid a retainer fee, and it's possible that our last invoice would be less that retainer fee, but I'm sure it's gonna look like she's gonna eat it up if you're not saying your billable hours. But it has been clearly requested that we need to do billable hours, and she continuously avoids it. The question was very clear. Going forward, will all invoices reference billable hours and explanations for those hours? And she didn't respond to that. She just said a retainer is only a deposit. So she selected to answer part of the question, not the entire question. So I sent her an email saying that in October we need itemized invoices. She ignored that. Then I had Ms. Kennedy to send it to her. And as you can see, she selectively ignored that as well. So I don't know what we're gonna end up paying. And probably not gonna know what we're gonna be paying for.
I do have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
When are they scheduled to be done?
She just said it.
She told me at the end of February, like February 26th is what she told me on the phone. But I'm not, what I think, I don't know if she's gonna complete it without the interim payment. We didn't discuss whether she was gonna withhold the final report
That was
absent
my
the payment.
question.
I didn't ask her that, because I didn't have the authority I didn't know how the governing body felt about the invoices, so I didn't ask her.
So this is the last payment she is requesting?
This will be the middle payment, and then there will be a final payment of an additional, she said, of about somewhere about $45,000 again. So it might be $90,000 total that's gonna be due.
So
45 pending, and then another 45,000 to finish it out.
And maybe I can help you. This last invoice is not itemized. I think it said 91 or 92 billable hours. I think that's what the number was, 91 or 92. That totaled 45,000. But when you do the math based on the contract, which if you would look at that, it's much less than that. $92 at what they said they would bill us does not equal to 45,000. Also, council, the prior council elected body agreed to $30,000 more. So they're just pretty much maximizing, making sure they spend what was allocated, or what y'all agreed to, what the previous council agreed to extend. So I don't really know, and I'm not talking to her. So Attorney Wiley, would you talk to her again and ask her, is she, like, when is she expecting payment, or if she's like holding the report? Because she's saying she's holding a report. I mean, she's saying she's trying to finish with grants. There were no grants. So, I mean, there were like 3. And so I'm not sure.
I did ask her which grants, and I said, are you doing active grants or closed grants? And she really didn't want to say. So if there are any questions this body would like me to ask her, other than, will you complete the report without the payment? Or are you going to withhold it until this middle payment? I can ask that if there's something else this body wants to know. And
the council, at this point, do you all want to approve the 45,000 unitemized? Because if she's holding it, then we would have to wait till March.
And I'm not sure if she's holding, just to make clear, I'm not sure if she's holding it. I was just.
Yeah, 1 second. So right now, council, I want to make sure I'm clear, there's a pending $45,000 invoice that I have huge questions on paying. So just want to be transparent. I have not paid it and have not brought it before you all for payment because it's not itemized. Councilwoman Messick.
Thank you. So the money that we're discussing for this has already been pre-approved to go through with this audit. What I would like to see is if Michelle finishes this audit, as she's saying by February the 26th, I would like her to come to the March meeting and present her findings. If at the very least, if we're not getting exactly the dimensions of what we all need, a presented report, and I would like her to come with her explanations and allow us to ask her questions at the end of this process.
Yes, ma'am, I'll ask her. And I guess this is phase 2 and phase 3, the invoice.
Well, I think we said phase 3 doesn't even make sense to do. If you look at it, phase 3 doesn't make sense. I think where we're stuck at is that there's a $45,000 bill that's not itemized that I haven't authorized to pay because I don't know what it's paid for.
Mayor?
Yes.
But didn't you just, so was this payment pre-approved or not?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the payments for this forensic audit were approved by the previous city council.
So if it's pre-approved, then how can you withhold payment?
Because I'm not going, just because it's pre-approved don't mean we have to approve something that's not legitimate. I mean, y'all just pre-approved the budget, but I'm not going to pay something. I mean, it's pre-approved, but it doesn't obligate me to pay something that doesn't provide I feel, reasonable accounting practices. I mean, y'all can vote, we can just pay her $45,000, but that's not a good precedent.
Attorney Wiley, can you step in? I just need clarity. I apologize. So if something has been pre-approved by the previous council,
Y'all want to pay that?
but we are stating that we're not paying it, how are we liable? I mean, I'm confused as to the language.
Wow, you just asked a great question. I don't mean to sound too wonky. Shelby likes when I talk wonky talk. So the law says that a successor council cannot automatically bind, a predecessor council cannot automatically bind a successor council.
Mm-hmm.
So any unpaid debt with respect to that contract or that agreement that was approved by the last council does not necessarily bind this council. That's just, that's the law. So when you approve the agreement, I have not read the minutes in which the council approved this, but if they approved a not to exceed or amount for the contract, that doesn't necessarily equate to you have to pay it. Because if that was the case, she could give us a one-page summary and we'd still have to pay her, pay her. So you still have to have the work the scope of work completed in order to justify the payment. So two answers to your question. A prior council cannot bind a subsequent council for financial disbursements. This is a new calendar year, a new council. You can, if you wanted to, continue to operate under that, but you don't have to legally. So, and then the other part to that is, if you decide to continue to operate from that your predecessor council's actions, then that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have to have sufficient information to justify paying that money.
Right, that's
So
my
those are
follow-up.
two different things.
Right. So if we can be provided with the contract, because I think that was something important that the new council should have received, especially if we're going to be asked to make a decision about it.
Yes.
If we can definitely get a contract of that, a copy of the contract as well as that invoice, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor? Yeah. Mayor Pro Tem?
So I feel like you provided some answers. I just want to make sure I got the undertone of what I believe Councilwoman Fox's question was, or even if not, this is my question. So if it is not stated explicitly that they have to provide itemized billing, is there an opportunity for them to seek litigation against us for not paying them for work that they did if they never said that they would present us an itemized bill, or if, and on their version of the contract, that they didn't agree to do these things, and they're saying they're doing what they agreed to do in their contract and we're not paying them? Is there room for litigation?
Well, yes, I think there could be possibly litigation. The city could invoke litigation too by saying this was done by a prior predecessor council and we're not obligated to pay this at all. That would be the defense, because you really aren't. A prior council can't come on December 31st and rack up a bunch of, or pass a lot of ordinances that require money to be expended. And then when the new council comes in, you all are bound to pay that. So the law is pretty clear. So we have a defense. Yeah, they could try to sue us, but we have a good defense. If they did sue us, I would use that defense. But we weren't bound by a prior council. You should have gotten all your money in 2025 because this new council is not bound by that. So we want to hope we can avoid all kinds of litigation, but I am going to look through the contract. I think the contract just talks about phases of what they're going to do. There is nothing in there that I can recall, Mayor Pro Tem, that require itemized billing. I don't remember that being a requirement. In fact, I don't know if there's anything in there that talks about how billing was going to be provided to the city. It just had an amount for each of the phases. Nothing about how the billing was going to look. And I think that was the mayor's question. She wanted the itemization. They said no. They said they used to do it 10 years ago. They stopped.
And I think it's a reasonable request. If you're tracking hours, it's not like they didn't give us hours. They gave me 91 hours. So you had to have some method for 91 hours. So it says here, therefore, we have provided the ensuing rate table so that the client may understand its ability to scale the investment up or down. The current 2025 rates for the primary project team are shown below, and approximate blended hourly rate of $300 depending on the complexity of the matter. So they say that the principal or partner is $550, the senior manager is $450, the manager is $350, a senior consultant is $250, and a consultant is $175. However, they say that a combined blended hourly rate is $300. So with that being said, when you take 91 times 300, you don't get $45,000. And so therefore the burden I feel like is on them to tell me. Apparently, if you are calculating, so let me see, 92 times $300, That equals $27,000. However, the itemized bill that you all will get says 91 or 92 hours at $45,000, which means that some of those hours are billed at a principal partner rate, some at a senior manager rate, some at a manager rate. But according to here, I thought we had agreed that we would just hit in the middle at 300. If that's not the case, then they do owe us to tell us we are charging you 20 hours for the principal partner, 30 hours for the senior manager. Like, they have to have something. And it's almost like, I mean, and this is, I want us to move past it. This is something that the mayor is doing. You know, we're in the middle of a forensic audit. They're doing a forensic audit. If you all saw a bill for a plumber that simply said 10 hours, 25,000, and I paid it, I think y'all have a problem. Y'all gonna wanna know, what did he do for 10 hours at 25,000? So that's the same standard that I'm used here. All the people that do our reconciliation will tell you, I need itemized receipts. That is a standard practice. You can't just bring me a total dinner. So, no, I need to itemize to make sure. So that's all we're doing. It's not trying to prohibit passing the money on or something, but this is a lot of taxpayers' money, and I feel like we owe every granular piece of transparency. And a bill that says 91 hours equals 45,000, and I don't know the math in between, it's just not fair to the public. So that's all we're trying to get at. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I remember hearing that that Plant Moran did a similar project in a neighboring jurisdiction. I just pulled it up online, and it's a 32-page report. And I think the payment for that was over $140,000. It was right at six figures. So I guess we have a recent sample of one of their forensic audits they've done that I just pulled down. I can just email it to you all. It might give you some insight.
Are we able to reach out to them and see if they got itemized bills?
I can ask, but I'm just looking at this report. It's a 32-page report. It was
For $100,000.
Yes. So I
And that's for a district. I mean, that's for a city that's budget is so far beyond ours.
I think a $250 million budget for that city.
Council, I'm sending you all a copy of the engagement agreement. Council, any other questions that you would have, Attorney Wiley? Go back, Councilwoman Kearney, did you have something? Anybody else? All right, thank you so very much, Attorney Wiley. We will continue to keep you all updated on developments with Plant Moran. At this time, I'm excited to introduce to you Mr. Lee Tabb with Tabb and Tabb, who did our audit. We met earlier. You want to come forward? Yes. Mr. Tabb and his firm has been working on our 2023 audit.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. As the mayor indicated, we've been working on your financial audit. We're financial auditors, so it's a different thing here, but we are auditors. And so tonight we're going to do a presentation to you of our results of the audit. The audit is basically done, and there's some things that has to be done in order for us to issue the report. But we want to go through and give you, in our presentation, a highlight of the 23 financial statements, our findings in terms of reportable conditions, and then we have something called a governance letter, in which it is required in our profession to tell you how the staff treated us, that they really cooperate and provide us the information. So we'll cover that at the end. So I think you have, just to show you, this is your audit. It's like 97 pages. There's a full disclosure of all your finances for 2023. As I go through this, you will see we're really excited. Y'all had a really good year with 23. Too bad it's late, but we'll point that out to you.
Shout out to the staff. Great year.
All right. What I want to show here is what you'll be looking at when you finally get this. This is a table of content. I would discuss this with the mayor earlier today, but government accounting is really complicated. I mean, our profession, the GASB board, has really made this extensive. And you can see, if you look at this, that what we performed for y'all, which you requested, the mayor specifically requested, that she wanted an AFR, and that's an annual comprehensive financial report. And that includes a transmittal letter describing the role of management of the city. And then there's another important section that's called the management discussion analysis. And the management of the city is required to prepare this report because they want, the GASB say that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tabb. If you are very tall.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you. So in the MD&A, management is supposed to show that they understood what went on during the year. So they do a highlight of the changes of those financial positions. Our role is to read that, to make sure it's conformative to the audit that we have performed. So you'll see in the table of content, there will be that section called the financial section. The first part is our independent auditor report, and then the management discussion. That's where I think you should focus on. And then as y'all just approved this budget and all those funds, you can see that you have all these governmental funds, general funds. If you go to the next page of this, you have a capital project fund, you have debt service fund, you have grant funds, and all these funds have to be accounted for and budgeted, maintained, and management is supposed to provide this to you, and then you suppose, as a council member, make sure those budgets stays in balance. And if they're not, like you just did, you find some way to find resources to bring those budgets in balance, right? And so our audit has to cover all these various funds and financial statements. So the first part of this we're going to cover is our opinion letter. If you go. Our opinion letter is in here. Keep going to the next page. Keep going. Okay, there we go. This is a draft of our opinion letter. And as you can see, it states that we have audited the accompanying financial statement of the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city of Jonesboro as of and for the year ended December 31, 2023. And the related notes to the financial statement will collectively comprise the city basic financial statement as listed in the table of content. In our opinion, based on our audit and report, the financial statement referred above presents fairly in all material respect the respective financial position of the government activities, the business activities of each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city as of December 31, 2023. And respecting the financial position and where applicable cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. This is a clean opinion. It means that as a reader reads these financial statements, they can rely on and make decisions based on the work we perform and what your staff did in helping us prepare these financial statements. We conducted this audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and also generally accepted auditing standards as it relates to government. You have a responsibility, and we see that you were doing that just a few minutes ago when you're working and looking at your procurement procedures. You have a responsibility to make sure you have adequate internal controls so we can be able to prepare this audit. Because we analyze your internal controls and try to make sure we can develop tests if there's risk. If there's risk, we develop tests to make sure we can still do the audit, but we may have to do additional work if there's material weaknesses. The other part of this audit is that we exercise professional judgment and skepticism throughout the whole audit. And we identify risks and we try to minimize those risks. And risk means for us that where could the financial statements have an error? An error doesn't mean like something got stolen. It's whether or not it's recorded correctly. And you'll see as we go through the audit, at the end, there was things that was not recorded correctly. And that's why it took the audit so long, because we had to make sure that we can sign off on the audit, so we had to make and adjust the books accordingly, right? Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned earlier, we obtain an understanding of your system of internal control. We evaluate your accounting policies and principles. And the last thing we do and you'll have no problem with this, though. Our standard requires to make sure you're going to stay in business. We have to report to you if we think that something is really happening to an entity or the city, and it's not functioning where it'll be around for another 12 months. So in summary, this is a clean opinion in layman terms, okay? All right, so let's look at where you are. Let's go back. Yeah, there we go. This is just a summary of the financial statement. As I mentioned, it's a big document, but we're just going to hit some highlights here, okay? And what we have here is, you know, as a government, you have governmental activities and you have business activities. And all your funds basically are governmental activities. You only have one business activity, and that's the sanitation fund. So this is what we're reporting here. But I want to point out to you this. You can see for 2023, the ending net position of the city is $28.7 million. And for 2022, it was $27 million. And then on the business activity, it's $421,000. And last year, it had a deficit of $5.9 million.
I'm sorry, is this page going with what you're?
Is this what you're on? I think you're on the, yeah, this is what you're on it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And you said,
You see the two different columns?
I was looking for the 5 million.
It's in the parentheses. You see it at the very bottom right here. Okay.
All right. That's all right. That's fine. And y'all can always stop me and ask questions. Okay. But anyway, overall, at the end, I just want to point out, if you look at the last column, in 2023, taking the combination of the governmental activity and the business activities for 23 and 22, you can see the city at $28 million, and now we're at 21 million. So that's a good year for yourself. The next page talks about the next page talks about the activity that happened. You can see that you have revenues, they're pretty consistent, but your expenses, y'all control expenses better in 23 than you did in 22. And you can see that the effect of that was a change in net position of $588,000 positive. As you compare it to 2022, there's a negative loss of $9.4 million. And you look at the same comparison for your business activities, you got $458,000 positive, and you compare that to 2022, you can see it's $18 million. So you can see that overall for 2023, for both the business activity and the governmental activities, you have $1 million change in net position as compared to $9.4 million in the prior year. So if you get into the financials, it'll go in real details about your capital assets, your fixed assets, your debt, the amortization schedule of your debt. And so it's a very informative document. So whenever y'all get your full documents, you have any questions, we're always available to answer those questions for you individually. The next part we're going to cover is, let's go to the next page. Section. We have a report on internal control. As I mentioned earlier, we have to perform this audit and evaluate your system of internal control. And this is required by our standards to give you a letter of what we found. And so there's a thing in the accounting profession that we consider whether or not it is a control deficiency or material weakness. We have determined that you had some material weaknesses during 2023, and we'll go straight to that. There you go. Go to the next page. All right, we got 3 control weaknesses we're going to talk about. The first one is audit adjustment. We made multiple material audit adjustments to correct your financial statements. And the adjustment was necessary in order to do this report. And the cause of that is because management is responsible for establishing and maintaining internal control and preparing financial statements. And the reason this is happening because you didn't have people who can do this. And as I discussed with the mayor, this is something that just didn't happen. It's like for us, when we perform an audit like this, you can still get a clean opinion if we work hard. Any auditor can bring it correctly, right? But you don't really want your auditor to be the one to give you correct information. You want to be sure that information you're getting on a monthly or quarterly basis is correct. Mm-hmm. You don't want to wait till the auditor when I come and say, oh, here's your real numbers, right? So, you know, your auditor in the past probably was making these adjustments for you, but you maybe not been aware of this. So we're just pointing out that we need you to continue to hire good people, train your people, and make sure that you're getting accurate, reliable information where you can do your budget adjustment like the mayor has indicated they'll look at sometime later on during the year. You can't make those decisions if the books are not correct and updated, okay? Mm-hmm. That's comment number one. Comment number two is pretty much similar to the comment number one as it relates to budget line items. In other words, we have to disclose, required by the state, any line item on the budget in which you went over. So we've identified in debt service you went over, and in public safety, and also in the capital outlay relating to the ARPA fund. Now, you didn't go over budget and overspent for the entire fund. It's just these line items. So you got some positive items on your budget to absorb these overs, but the state requires us to report this to you where you'll know that you need to make sure you adjust your budget. And you can always amend that budget even after year end. I mean, the law allows you to do that. It's just making sure that you make public knowledge that you're amending the budget and for the public to know what's happening. Mm-hmm. The last comment is pretty obvious, but your audit is late, you know, so you're required by the state to have your audit done 6 months after your year end. So we're way past that. Now that's a compliance finding, right? So we have to report it, or the state will be mad at us, right? Because it's so obvious. But anyway, we're working with y'all, and for hopefully we eventually be back on track and have current financial statements for you, okay? Thank you. And the last part of this is what we call the governance letter. And this is where we write you and tell you we performed the audit, and we say to you as the council that we performed this audit, and we tell you you're responsible to use appropriate accounting policies. That's what we want to tell you. We want to highlight to you that your biggest issue of disclosure is your pension plan. When you get to financial statements, there's a big note on pension plan. It talks about what assets are available in that plan and what is the net pension liability. And you know how pension liabilities are. If you have a good year in the market, well, you don't have much of a pension liability. If the market goes down, you can have a significant pension liability. So that's something you have to monitor and is disclosed in the financial statements. And in our profession, under the GASB rules, there's a supplemental information in the report that gives you a 10-year history of what's happening on that pension plan, because that's a very sensitive information for your employees, but they'll know what's going on that, right? And then we mentioned that we made audit adjustments. We shared those audit adjustments with your finance person. They told us they're going to make those entries and they're going to get right on it. If they do that, that'll help us to be able to start the audit for 2024. You know, we won't be starting, we'll be having balances that we can rely on. We have a letter that the mayor and the chief financial officer must sign. This letter is what we call a management representation letter. In this letter, it says that the mayor, and working with the finance people and the staff of the city, have provided us all the information we requested. And then And from that, it tells them, and they say to us, there's no outstanding liabilities that they didn't disclose to us, or issues, or any fraud. In other words, we have a letter that says they're aware that if there's things that need to be told to us, that we need to disclose in the financial statements, they signing off and assuring us they've given us all the necessary information. And the last thing is we want to say the staff that we work with really did help us. That we're supposed to tell you that too. If we had a disagreement with them, we're supposed to let you know that we really had a hard time working with your people, but we didn't. And so at the end, you're going to have a good-looking set of financial statements. One of the things that's still open, since we got the city attorney here, the city attorney has to respond to a letter to us to make sure there's nothing that we need to report as a contingent liability in the financial statements. And once we get all those things in place, we'll finalize this and you will send it to the State Department of Audit. Okay.
Thank you so much. I want to thank Mr. Tab and Tab. This was a lot of work that we didn't expect, and I'm not sure, we tried to get to the bottom of it. So I thank you so much for your patience and helping us get to this end product. I'm going to entertain a few questions. Councilwoman Kearney?
Thank you so much. So I just want to know, how much did we spend on this exactly?
This one was $45,000, am I correct?
Yes, it's 45, and then we negotiated, or you negotiated with us to add $1,800 on top of it.
For the DDA?
For the Development
Authority, okay.
Downtown Development Authority.
Now, and the one for next year, we allocated $45,000, but it's going to be a little bit more because it has our ARPA funding expenditures that we expended, and so that's a different level of reporting that we have to add. Is that correct?
Right. There's a whole nother section of reporting. It's called a single audit, and this is reported to the federal government. And we have to do compliance testing as it relates to your compliance with spending federal funds.
Okay. As a part of the forensic audit, correct?
Part of the what audit?
Separate than the forensic audit?
It's separate.
Cool. All right, so I just do want to point out, thank you obviously to our staff who have been, so helpful as he explained, and just making sure the government is, run the, proper way administratively. I do want to say, from what I gathered from your presentation, the city was actually ran more effectively in 2023 than in 2022? Or more efficiently, I'm sorry?
I can't say that because we're in 2026, so but I can just say the numbers, based on the numbers. One of the things is you can't hold it against the city is because y'all had a big construction project going on. Mm-hmm. So that construction project in 22 created cash flow or cash loss because you were moving money from one fund to cover that, right? And so you may have accumulated resources, but you used those resources up in 22 and created this deficit, right? So, it's something that y'all had resources to do, and you're still here. So, I can't answer whether or not 22 and 23 is more efficient. I just think our opinion is this, that we do need to continue to get better at what we're doing, yes, in terms of accounting, that's all.
Okay. I also want to add, just to kind of connect for the new council people, we have a Georgia fund, which is where we keep our reserve or our savings account, and so money was withdrawn in 22, which is why this whole idea of wanting to replenish back to that started in 22 and wanting to get it back up to the $5 million that we had at one point that had been chipped away at.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just trying to also get a track of all the audits we have going on currently, and I'm trying to understand, so what's the purpose of, I guess, the audit we referred to in new business, item A? And then what are the other ones, I guess, we're paying into and that we're already working on? And can we do something about that if they're already being,
No, we only have two now. We have our fiscal year 23, we'll go into 24, and then within 6 months we'll have 25 and we'll be caught up. So we're halfway getting caught up. The forensic audit, and just for transparency, we had asked, or certain council members had asked, that we get this audit back because it would give an indicator of what needed to be investigated, but previous council chose otherwise. So the forensic audit is still out there for the time period beginning in 22, which is a year before this, including this year, going up into the completion of 24. I don't think the forensic audit covers 25. Let me go look and see. I don't think it covers 25. Anybody remember? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Messick?
thank you. Do we know when we'll be able to get a copy of the 23 audit?
God, y'all listen. So there are some things that have to be signed. There's a finance, he lists them. So once we have all of that, then we give that to him and he compiles a complete report. I specifically asked for, what's the project, what did I ask for? Remember, they said we didn't have to do this, but I wanted this.
Oh, yeah, we could have, just to let you know, as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, this is called an AFR, as an annual comprehensive report. The state of Georgia only requires you to do an annual report. And so in a AFR, you have to do a transmittal letter giving in details of what happened during the year. Just it's like a marketing part. But the real meat of an AFR is in the back. And there's a whole section, the statistical section, to give 10 years history. And the mayor insisted that she wanted that in there. So her staff worked and provided this information to put in the AFRA for you. The advantage of doing that is if you decide to do a bond and issue debt, the bonding agencies like to see what the city 10-year history is. So you'll already have this information available. If you didn't have that, you probably could get it anyway because it's public information, but now you have it in this report, is available if you decide to go and do some additional financing.
I do have
And so I can't answer your question when, but we're working real hard. to
So
try to
the
get it
audit
done.
itself is done. It's just that the key required pieces as far as signatures and things like that, we have to get to them and then it'll be bound. Okay?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
I know you said the audit.
Councilwoman Fox.
Thank you. You said that you sent back some items that need to be corrected or amended before it's finalized?
No, those items are being corrected now. So
Okay.
they're integrated in your financial statements,
Okay.
right? So
They're being corrected by
We sent
you
them
all?
an adjusted working trial balance with all the corrections they need to make in their books and records, right?
Okay.
So-
When you say their books, our books, or the person that we hired to do our books are the ones making the corrections and the
They will
changes?
make those corrections that
Okay.
we recommend, right?
Okay, okay.
And so it's like, before you can pick up the next one, we got to make sure this one so that they detach. And the problem that we had, and I'm saying in layman's term, is that 22's end didn't meet 23's beginning. Is that a non-accounting way to say it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, yeah, so we're not sure what happened, that they didn't clean up, and so now moving forward, once he does this, then 24's beginning will meet 23's end, and we can smoothly go into this.
Right.
That's the non-accounting version of it. Any other questions? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
And so, and you probably have answered this a couple of times, but when we start talking numbers, everything starts to spin for me. So you said there were some things that needed to be cleaned up. I know our previous finance director was basically saying that we had inappropriate accounts, or we didn't have too many things were coming out of one account. They should have had their own individual accounts. Is that the type of things that you're saying needs to be cleaned up, or is it we have the money, we're moving it in the wrong pots? Like what? Because even when I get the report, I'm still gonna probably need it to be broken down in layman's terms. So, is that what you mean? Because we've heard that before.
Well,
that needs to be fixed.
I think it could be that, but for us, those are simple things. When you look at this, you have a general fund, you got federal funds, you have a capital projects funds, grant funds. I mean, you have this local fund from the state of Georgia, right? And so, what's happening with you is whether or not people understand government accounting. Let me give you an example of government accounting, which I just did. If you decide to buy a truck and put it in your budget, it comes in as an expense, and so they book the expense meeting the budget, right? If you go out and get debt, it comes in as cash, but it's not recorded as debt in government financial statements, right? And so you have to have someone who understands that if you're doing it for the budget for 1 year and it's not booked as an asset, it's booked as an expense, it can get lost. And so what our profession has said, we want these financial statements to do two things. We want it to be a tool for you as governors to be able to manage your budget on an annual basis. So if you budget for a truck, the rules say you expense the truck. But for businesses, you don't expense a truck. You book it as an asset. And so you have to put it on a set of financial statements as an asset. So if you go out and get debt, you don't show it as income. In governmental financial statements, if you get a loan, you show it as income. But then on the full accrual financial statements, you have to show that as debt. So you have these debt schedules. Now that means that you got two sets of financial statements that somebody in your organization got to manage. They got to manage a set of books on a budgetary basis, then a set of books on a business basis, right? And it's hard to find people who can understand all this, right? And then y'all have another issue. You'll have a big pool account, right? And everybody participating in these pools, somebody has to make sure that if you spend this money out of this pool, there's an equity account that goes down in that pool. And if you, and so you don't overspend that one fund amount in those pools, right? So you have to get an accountant who understands how to manage this. And it's hard to find people like that. Hopefully y'all have found this new person working with you who can help you pull that off. But that's what makes it so difficult, because there's so many integral parts of things going on. And the other thing is, y'all have to make sure that as you approve anything in these, in the council meetings, it gets to finance. You know, like I read y'all minutes. Y'all were doing radios. That came up from beginning of the year all the way to the end of the year, starting in January all the way through December, those radios. And it never got clear how to book them. So that was we eventually, guess what? Y'all bought them and paid for them in 24. But the transaction of getting them was all confused through the whole year, right? But we finally figured it out. But I'm just saying, it's a communication between council, finance, and everybody involved to make sure that as an auditor, when we come in, we can make sure those financial statements are correct, that we can sign off on them. And it can't happen unless there's good communication, good policies and procedures. So it's not a simple, like, money ain't in the right place. You got to have people who can understand how to do government accounting and book transactions correctly.
Thank you.
Mr. Tabb, thank you so very much. Well, I don't know about them, but I'm excited to have it done. And I think and also just to put this in perspective, you found 3 findings, really 1, because the other one is just saying that we are behind. And typically, our previous audits, we've had 3 to 4 findings as well. So I think down to 2. Now, there's 2 big ones that we're working on, but I think our procurement policy that we are getting and working toward will answer some of that, and Karen is answering some of that as well.
Right.
Council, any other questions? Again, thank you so much. We'll get those documents in the next 14 days to make sure we get a solid one, and then get copies of the audit to the staff.
All right. I got something. I think I left my notebook in your office. I'll come get it later on.
Mr. Hurd, would you mind walking into my office, please? Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, take care. So council, we've already approved him for the second one. He just needs to get me an updated invoice on the federal funding for that. And so we'll move right into our fiscal year 24. Mr. Tabb, how long do you think it's going to take on fiscal year 24? Okay. I've been pressuring him, but I do feel like 6 months into this year, we should be caught up. So we keep the heat up under him, but he is very, very, very knowledgeable. And I think we do have someone in place now that understands government accounting and helping us get those adjustments. Thank you all so much for your patience on that. Item B up under new business was a discussion of the Nouveau repair. So we end up repairing Nuvo. We found someone that came in and made the repair for $1,000. Was it $1,000 even? Correct. And was able to repair it, and not the $35,000. So, okay. And so let me just say this. So when someone first comes, it's like at your house, you got somebody to come to your house, so they come to the house and, you know, sometimes I've had people look at the air conditioner, it's like, oh, you need a brand new air conditioner. So I reached out to council at that point to say, hey, this is the highest, but we're working to get some other ones. And so it took us some time, well, not some time, the person that I felt like I trust the most was out of town. So as soon as he came in, I think Blue talked to him on Wednesday, looked at it on Thursday and made the repair for us on Friday. So when those emergencies come up, it's not that we're not getting ready to go with the first $35,000. That was my purpose of calling you guys so that I could say, hey, this is the worst case scenario. And then Mr. Cole was continually working on some other options. It's a 2020 water heater. Mr. Maddox said he thinks we got a little bit more life on it. We dealt with the factors to kind of keep that piece from going out. And so as of right now, they do have hot water as of Friday. Thank you for those that call back. Any other questions, Councilman Fox?
She put it on the
Not the Councilwoman Messick?
I'm glad it's repaired. I think one of my questions was, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of my questions was just in doing the repair, I know that we recently today received the copy of the lease. And my question was concerning the responsibility of repairs to Nuvo. Is that the city's responsibility for repairing water heaters?
So I'm not sure, but I'm going to tell you, how can I say this? We didn't have time to go back and forth with DDA. So I will take the responsibility. Now, I wasn't going to spend the 35, which is why I said, let's look some other options. They needed hot water. And if there's a building in our city, whether it's owned by the city or the DDA, we can work it out in the wash. Now, if we want to say that it's Nuvo's and we can go after Nuvo, I'm sure she'd gladly give us $1,000. But Rob was out of town, and they needed hot water. They had been without it for a week. So I made the decision, once I found out it was $1,000, to go ahead and issue that repair. So if we want to bill it back to Nuvo, then that's at the council's pleasure. And we can bill back to Nuvo, but the city wrote the check. We'll be writing the check for the $1,000. But if you all want Nuvo to be responsible for it, then we'll make a motion that for that, appropriately second it, let's let it pass, and then Mr. Cole will work with getting the $1,000 back from them.
Mayor,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we're, in accordance with whatever the reference says. So if you can provide that, like in quotes or something, making sure that that is the case, then I have no problem like entertaining that, Councilwoman Messick. But if not, if it doesn't, state that, then I don't think the city paying $1,000 for it is technically incorrect.
So Attorney Wiley has that lease and is going to look over it for us. So y'all, this is $1,000. Like it can wait till March, but I want to have her enough time to look over it, give a courtesy to our to the leases, and to also talk with the DDA. So also keep in mind that Mr. Cole is kind of, I'm not going to say straddled, but he's DDA and city. So a lot of times I'll say things like, Mr. Cole, get the water heater fixed. And I don't say Mr. Cole DDA person or Mr. Cole economic developer. I just say Mr. Cole, because you can't split it, get the water heater fixed. That's what was paramount to me. So we can figure out where the $1,000 come from.
So I just want to, I say here if I say it later. I feel like not placing clarity on DDA versus City of Jonesboro is what caused the confusion with the DDA, Jody Campbell, and all of that, and we having to go back and forth and figure out who did what and what city, and then we moved it over months later. And although the money is always there, I think just to avoid that circus again, I think we just need to provide clarity when we say get it done, so that we know exactly where it's coming from, whether it's 1,000 or 50,000 like the last situation was. I just would prefer. I think I thought that the reason when Mr. Campbell presented his findings, that was one of the things that were to be changed, that were clear.
So the way you prevent a circus is you take the clowns out of it. And so that's exactly what we did here. So again, there are going to be times to come up, like the roof situation. The DDA and the city, we have to work together, and we had a history of working together until the circuit started. So this was a situation, I hear exactly what you're saying. It's very clear. The city paid for it. Now, the clear part is, as a body, do we want to continue to own that expense? Or do we want to collectively agree and make a motion that that expense goes back to the DDA or to NUVO? So that's not confusion. We either have to shut something down, ran the risk of news people coming. It's just certain things we just don't want to discuss, you know. And so, do you want to help Attorney Wiley kind of?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem. Jonesboro, like a lot of cities, there are over 560 cities in the state of Georgia. Jonesboro, like a lot of cities, has operated with the gentlewoman's handshake with respect to the operations of the city and the DDA. There is no formal IGA, but I would venture to say I have seen with my own, in my own personal experience, this is not the first time. As cities grow and things happen, the need to have that more formal definition or defining relationship become more evident and necessary. So currently, we do not have an IGA between the city and the DDA with respect to how it will operate. Generally, where the DDA will use, the DDA uses city premises for its meeting. That's just done by handshake. There's nothing in an agreement that says the city has to provide that space, electricity, water. But you put that in a city. You put that in the IGA. The city may have the staff share staff. That's the kind of information you put in an IGA. And so this is not anything new with respect to not having that. It's a good problem that we're growing and we have to have something more formal. So we're going to get that done. The other thing I will say with respect to the lease and all those things, it was a very, very complicated bond structure that was done with respect to that entire area where the green is. It was a complicated bond structure and a financing structure. And so we're at the end of one piece of that, whereby the lease can be unwound and redone. We're at that in October. So we're working towards really understanding it because it's so complex, and then starting from anew with respect to how we want to apportion, or if we want to apportion those kind of expenses going forward. I think for now, I've said while it's not ideal, I do think that there are certain issues that are public health, safety, welfare, where this body is the governing authority, will ultimately and should be responsible for right now. And as we move forward, we'll get all this straightened out. I promise by October, I'm hopeful we'll have that completed.
And also, let me say, in regard to the IGA, to your point, before we can clean that up, I'm still gathering information on like what that city actually does. So for me to say, don't pay the $1,000, then it's like saying, Marcus, don't cut the grass. There is no IGA. Marcus, do you cut the DDA grass? Yeah, so there's no IGA that says the city is to cut the DDA grass. But I've required him to continue to cut the grass without it. So when we begin to clean it up, we have to clean it up 100%, and some of that is going through to see exactly what in-kind services have we provided the city. There are also some utilities that are on the city side that the city's been paying for. So we are in the process now of kind of clearing it up, seeing who, I think there's some security cameras on one. I mean, so it's just a lot. And then also, if something happens at a building, we send Marcus and we treat a DDA building the same way we treat a city property. It has never been a situation where I've said, Marcus, don't go, that's the DDA building. So if they call and say, I don't know, chief call and say a tree fell or something, I think we did have that on the DDA building. We just got the tree cut. And so, but again, I am saying that I paid the $1,000 for the water heater, but however you all want to dictate those charges, we can. Just like if a tree had fell on the house, Marcus would have been required to get it, pay the fee. Then I would have come back to you guys and said, hey, who do y'all want to pay this? The important thing was just getting it done.
And I appreciate getting it done so that we don't impact the business in the city. It would benefit us to have policies and procedures in place that we follow clearly, just so that I don't like
the
how many
circus.
times we were on the news. And so I don't,
I agree.
I would prefer for that not to happen and we have so many new people on the DDA. I just want things to be clear, even if it's just $1,000. Also, I want to worry about the precedent that we set with these being public meetings. I don't want one business to come saying that something's unfair or another business to come. And so I just want to make sure that whatever we do, that we can support and say, here it is in black and white.
So how would y'all have liked for the water heater, just to tell?
I'm not necessarily saying it was wrong.
No, I'm just saying, like, so that we're not, 'cause I'm hearing somebody over here with the amen corner. But, and let me just say this also, the difference with Nuvo, if another business comes up, is that the DDA owns the building. So I don't suspect that 75 South can come say, fix my water heater. We could clearly say, that's not a DDA-owned property. So I don't think we're going to get into that. This was just a water heater issue. But again, the IGA, you know, you live, you learn. So we are going through it, but when we clean it up, I want to clean it up once and for all. And I want us to be clear on everything. Are we cutting the grass? Are we not cutting the grass? Are we the first level of maintenance, or do they need to get their separate maintenance? You know, I need to look at every staff member and see if any of their work is attributed to any aspect of the DDA and list that as well. So it has to be very granular, and it's just going to take us some, I'm not even going to say it's going to take us some time. We just need to get everybody together and just see, hey, did I miss anything, basically, and then go from there. And then bring it back to you all to see, you know, I'm not opposed to cutting the grass. You know, I don't think we shouldn't stop cutting the grass, but then I want it to be a give or
Every
take.
IGA is different when you
Yes.
have the development authority in the cities. It just depends on the government and working together. But the DDA needs the city, and the city creates the DDA. And so it's not as black and white. I think there's going to be some overlap and some. You guys are the governing authority. You created the DDA. You appoint the members. And I just think that we're gonna do better. I think we're all learning.
Okay.
And so you guys within the next 6 months, you're gonna be very pleased at how we've brought this to you all to straighten out.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Kearney.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, I don't think anyone's saying, you know, there's a problem with the way anything was allocated, or we would prefer this or we prefer that. I think everybody, I hope, just wants to be, I would hope everyone just wants to be in accordance with what, you know, paper says. I think Councilwoman Fox said that she read something somewhere that any emergent repairs is done by Nuvo, sorry about that. So I would, like I said, like to know where that came from, because if there is no IGA involved, then that's not the case. But if you do have that and you or Councilman Messick can supply that, then, you know, I don't think anybody wants to go against policy here, so.
Well, may I say something?
Yeah, so I want, just 1 second. Y'all, I think we all want to assume good intent. Do we need to take a vote on, how would everybody's heart and mind feel clear about this $1,000 water heater? So, okay. Okay, so we're good on working until March until we get clarity. Okay. All right. Councilwoman Fox?
Yeah, I just wanted it to be, I know you all just received the lease today and you hadn't had a chance to review it, if the clown will be permitted to speak on it.
I think you just got a copy today, too.
The lease clearly states, while it is a bad lease, it does clearly states that the company that we're talking about, the business that we're talking about, is responsible for repairs. Water heater, I am a commercial agent, have been for a little over 10 years. That is a maintenance thing. So technically, under the lease as it's written, the City of Jonesboro nor DDA is responsible for repairing a water heater. Now, it is at the council's pleasure or the DDA pleasure to state otherwise, but to make it our emergency in a sense of according to how it's written in the lease. That is, even if the IGA doesn't exist currently as it has it in agreement of the lease, if we're following policies and procedures echoing what Mayor Pro Tem Miller said, then that would have been a responsibility of the business owners. That's it. I think that, like Mayor Pro Tem, myself, we would just like something clear cut to identify in the future if other expenses come, who's responsible for what. if we're gonna follow the lease, then let's follow the lease. If we're going to step outside of the lease, can we put some provisions to state what does that look like going forward? So it's just, as council said, it's about cleaning some things up, and it does need to be cleaned up.
I think we're all in agreement with the cleanup in the circus. All right, next on the agenda.
Letter A, Economic Development Report by Community Development Director Akuda.
Oh, y'all tag teaming? This is cute.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, Mr. Cole joined us, mid-January now, so yeah, we're gonna split up the report today. So in January, we did receive a presentation from our city attorney. We looked over our nuisance abatement ordinance, and as well as she introduced the changes that were brought forth this evening and put on consent agenda. So that was discussed. We met twice with the National League of Cities. We had a welcome call where they pretty much explained the expectations for the implementation phase of this grant regarding the procurement policy. And we also had a one-on-one meeting with one of the SCEI representatives. We are required when we go to Alabama to give a presentation, so we have to highlight one of the data sets in our business plan, and we went over the requirements for that in our session. We had a land bank meeting, the first one of the year. Mr. Cole, you're gonna speak to the FIFA as well as the comp plan. Okay. Then I'll jump down to economic vitality. We issued 5 new business licenses. 4 were for auto brokers, and the other was for a laundromat. Additionally, 3 businesses did terminate their licenses. It was an event scheduled originally for January 28th. It was the South Fulton Brokers Reception. That has since been rescheduled, but pretty much that's a reception activity where organizations on the South Metro area come together, they network and identify active economic opportunities within the region. But yeah, any questions?
I have a question. And maybe I should ask Mr. Hurd first before I throw it back to you. We did the ride along, we rode past the place, and it was an issue with the land bank not, I wanna say, maybe not taking accountability or having us do something that something was not clarity. Did you ever get clarity on that?
Yes, actually, Chief and I reached out to the land bank, and we found out that it's an in-kind donation for the cities to maintain that particular property.
Okay, so that was my question, if that got cleared with the land bank when y'all had that discussion.
Mr. Cole?
Councilman Dixon?
I got a question for you, Faith. Thank you for this report, too. Just in regards to the new business license that we have coming in, I know you said we have 1 laundromat coming. Is this the one off 138?
This one is on Jonesboro Road.
Jonesboro Road, 138, okay. What about the laundromat off of Terra Boulevard in that plaza? Are they still working on that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cole?
All right, thank you, council. As Faith mentioned, we had a meeting with Clayton County representatives about the FIFA with the World Cup coming. The county and the other cities in the county are looking to put on events. We're looking to coordinate a calendar so that we can avoid dates and still have something a little bit for everybody. Faith and I are working along with Main Street to identify some different activities and events to bring, and when we get that settled, we'll bring that to you guys for promotion and advancement. Regarding the comp plan, it is time for our 2026 comprehensive plan update. Yay, activity that's directed by the state of Georgia. We have to do an update every 5 years. We will be having the kickoff presentation at our next regular council meeting on March the 9th. ARC will come and do a presentation, and then from then until September, October, we will be having public meetings, we will be having public hearings, steering committee meetings. We will establish a steering committee that will bring together and just talk about the changes that need to be made. It'll be a representative from each one of the authorities and boards that we have here in the city, as well as a representative from council. We will have a public open house here at the City Center sometime between May and June, probably won't go into July. And then, of course, our goal is to have it adopted at the 9/14 regular City Council meeting. Do I have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman, was anybody over here? Councilwoman Fox?
Yeah, I was the one. Thank you so much for that. I've been waiting for you to come, so I'm really excited that you're here. How are things going with the Downtown Development Authority?
Excellent. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Good answer.
All right.
Anything else? All right, so at this point, we need to entertain a memorandum, which is a common when we go into a comprehensive plan. So you want to talk about that so we can entertain a motion
Yes,
to
ma'am.
approve?
So Atlanta Regional Commission is the regional commission that helps Clayton County. Around the state, all the regional commissions support comprehensive planning by just providing facilitations. They have the format, they have it worked out. The regional commissions have done this. I've done it with several of them. It's just a regular MOA to talk about what they're going to do, what we're going to do, and then see it all the way through.
And there's no fees associated
And
with
there's
it?
no fee, no ma'am.
So council, I'll be executing the memorandum of understanding as soon as we get it prepared this week, just kind of like a FYI. Or is it prepared
I
now?
think it's already prepared.
It is?
We just-
Oh, y'all got it in?
have it here, signed.
Oh, you have it ready for me to sign? Okay.
Authorizing the mayor to sign.
Can I read it, please? And the DNA results are, no. My second career. All right, so it's a memorandum, it's like 5 pages, y'all.
Madam Mayor, if it would please, council, I can review it, make sure it's the norm. I've seen a million of those. They can authorize it, sign it, subject to legal review. I think it's just, as Bruce said, it's just the same boilerplate language of what they would do, unless we can read out the full 5 pages. I haven't seen it either.
Okay, so
council.
can we make a motion? Tell me what motion would be appropriate, please.
I think if it would be pleasing to council, there could be a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the MOU, subject to legal review for any thing that's out of the ordinary course. These are just usually just, we'll do this and you'll do that, and it's pretty nondescript.
And no financial, there's no finances in there.
And then we can send it to mayor and council as soon as I reviewed it and executed, so you all can see what's in it. But that's up to you all, and that's just to expedite. I'm not sure if there's a time frame, Blue, when we need to get that back.
Well, we would need to get it
DCA.
so that they can come on next March. I'll entertain a motion, council, to allow me to sign the memorandum of understanding for the local comprehensive plan update with ARC, Atlanta Region Commission, upon review from Attorney Wiley.
So made.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Thank you so very much. Well, thank you so much for charging that. All right, this time, council. Report of council members, Councilwoman Fox.
Thank you all. First of all, always thank you to the staff. We wouldn't have this beautiful city. You guys are so pleasant. I know that you deal with the day-to-day, the different personalities, and you're dealing with us 7 here on the board. So I just want to say truly thank you. I know that the 4% increase was not a lot, and I know that going forward we'll be able to do more. It's definitely a start. And so I'm glad that Mayor Pro Tem definitely pushed that, and of course there was no hesitation for us to approve that, and we will continue to show you all through finances how much we appreciate you all, because some of you all don't get paid enough, honestly. You don't. I have a couple of events coming up this month at the end of the month, so I'm really excited about that. February 21st, that's a Saturday. Save the date. For all of you that are listening online, I am having a town hall meeting at Swent's Feeding Seed and feed, I always get those mixed up. Come learn about your garden, how to wake up your yard, how to participate more in the community, ways to serve in our community. So I'm really excited about that. For my first 20 people who come, you will get like a bag, a starter feed on how to treat your yard for weeds as we pluck out the weeds in our yard. Same concept, plucking out the weeds in our community and making sure that we move forward together. February 23rd, I'm partnering with Arts Clayton, mobile office. So many of you cannot make it to the city for whatever reasons. I want to give you a different option if you want to see me. Please come to Arts Clayton February 23rd from 12 to 5 p.m. where I will set up office and you guys can come in and talk to me about your problems, as some of you do call me on a regular basis to talk to me about. So this will give you an opportunity to talk to me in person as your council member. And of course, all council members are welcome to come February 23rd. However, I cannot have more than 3 of you so that we don't have a quorum, according to Attorney Wiley. So, of course, this is open to my fellow mayor and council members. I can't just have 3 of you at one time.
You can all get together, you just can't talk city business.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so everybody's welcome to come. We're just not gonna talk about city business. We're gonna be talking about yards.
If you can talk about
yards.
yards,
We're gonna be
y'all
talking
can
about
do that.
yards. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, City of Jonesboro. I will continue to fight for you. I love you.
All right, next, Councilwoman Messick.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to reiterate, thank you, staff, for everything that you do for our city. This month is Black History Month, and we're celebrating our heritage and our culture. We have some really good events coming up at the train depot that I just received information on today. I believe Ms. Shelby sent that out to us, so if you're not aware of some of the events happening, they're amazing. If you'll see her, I'm sure she can have that flyer available to share with anyone if they're not already in City Hall. Also, I just want to say Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Single, together, whatever you are, know that you're loved, know that someone loves you, above all else. And I hope you have a wonderful month. Thank you.
Councilman C. Dixon.
Yes, I want to say thank you all for being here this evening. I really do appreciate y'all taking time out of y'all busy schedule. It means a lot to us as a governing body that you all could be here. I want to thank everybody that spoke at public comment today. Mr. Mitchell, looking forward to you being an intern here with the City of Jonesboro and carrying out all those initiatives. And I also like to say in my closing report that thank you to our Community Development Director, Mr. Kuta and Mr. Cole. Thank you all for with y'all report. Thank you all for that. To our city staff, Mr. Attorney Wiley, City Clerk, Ms. Andrella, Ms. Maria, Ms. Pat, everybody in the Public Works Department, Mr. Hurd. Thank you all for all that you all do. Chief Cato, appreciate everything that you're doing as well. Also want to give a shout out to our U City Government Mayor, Zayon, for being here today. Really appreciate it, along with our advisors, Susan Taylor. And I also want to give another shout out to the Young Democratic Party of Clayton County, Ms. Sherelle and Brian, for being here in attendance. Y'all continue to advocate, and that's a wonderful thing, and I appreciate that. And they also had their day at the Capitol today. So that's an amazing thing. It's always a good time when you can go down to the Dome and learn the good works that happen every day. And also, the Jonesboro Beautification Committee is still looking for 3 members to join the board. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Kevin. He's here. He's one of our new beautification members.
Yes, sir.
For being here today. And and March 7th is going to be our first annual Trash Wars. It's going to start here at 9:30 right here at Lee Street Park. So you guys feel free. Y'all can register with the QR code. It's going to be on the city website and on our Facebook page. And pick a team. Let's come on, keep the community clean.
Thank you. Councilman A. Dixon.
Yes, to everyone here in attendance today, everyone watching at home, thank you all for tuning in and staying locked in with everything that we have going on in the city of Jonesboro. To our council, I really appreciate us approving this budget for this year and going ahead and moving the city forward. Making sure that our city, our residents, our staff members have what they need to move forward as well. So thank y'all for pushing that budget forward. Want to give a Laker Nation shout out to Mr. Terry. Thank you for participating in your first council meeting and public comment. I look forward to the great work that you'll do. I'm so glad that you have seen it through this far with your college career, and we're proud of you and look forward to seeing you cross that stage when that time comes. There's a lot of great things happening at the Capitol, like Cameron said, and we're actually going to be celebrating a lot of those happenings at the end of the month, February 27th, at the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus Heritage Gala. And we're also, of course, once the gala ends, the legacy will continue after dark. So please go to glbcweekend.com for all the information. And
Alrighty.
I think that's it. So yeah, thank y'all. And Laker Nation, homecoming is this month, February 23rd through March 1st. Please stay logged on to Clayton State's website. We have a lot of great things coming up and a lot of great activities and initiatives to get involved in. So thank
Councilwoman
y'all.
Kearney?
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you to the staff. I'm glad that you all will have a budget moving forward, an approved budget, so I am very thankful that we have that going forward. Thank you, everyone who was a part of, council who also voted on it, the DCRIM ordinance from last Monday. I definitely appreciate it. I thank the media sources that came out as well to, spread the word about what we're doing and what we're continuing to do out here in Jonesboro, and just looking to advance Jonesboro, keep moving forward. Looking forward to all of the initiatives that we have going on and that we're planning currently. But thank you also to the advocacy groups that came out in support, as well as Clayton County Dems, Young Dems to Clayton County, Working Family Party. I really appreciate you all. So that's all I have. Thank y'all.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you to the best staff in the land, as always. Okay, I will bet my bottom dollar on Jonesboro staff every single time. They get it done in a magician type of way. I don't understand how they wear so many hats, but it always gets done, and so I'm so very thankful. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to Young Dems, JYCG, our residents. Thank you everybody who came and sat through the meeting. I appreciate that. As Councilman C. Dixon did mention, Trash Wars is March 7th. There's a QR code on our website and on our social medias as well. You can sign up for it, and you can pick which council member you want to volunteer to help. And so I'm not saying pick me, but like, right? So please feel free to sign up. Bring your friends, volunteers. We'll have refreshments in the morning. We'll have lunch. But please go ahead and sign up so we can make sure that you're not the only one that doesn't have a Chick-fil-A box for lunch, okay? So please sign up. It is Black History Month. I'm so excited about the proclamation. Please make sure that if you can, you support a Black-owned business in the city or anywhere that you find one. Please feel free to do that. And I think that that's all that I have. I'm so very grateful for you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Council, again, thank you for approving the budget, but I do want to say that you all give a lot of gratitude doing your final comments toward council, and I mean, I'm real big on that, like say thank you. But I am going to push for the real gratitude to be shown to our employees, and that's a comparable compensation package at the market rate. All of our staff, make no mistake, this budget does not include bringing our minimum wage up to $22, which I will be pushing for, as well as looking at cost savings in the first quarter to give a substantial raise across the board. So although I do appreciate you all saying how much you appreciate them in your final comments, it's time for us now to go to work and show them what we appreciate them by providing them with a livable wage to take care of their family, to have some savings, things like that. I can tell you, the council appreciates the words, but the council would greatly appreciate the action. So now we have an approved budget, and so I would challenge us the next time we thank the council to give them some works along with the thank you. All right? Good. I'm glad we got that out. We have a day at the Capitol, Clayton County Day at the Capitol. Shelby Bentley will be spearheading that. She'll get some information. We'd love for you all to be there for us as well. It's February 21st, I believe, from 10 to 4. We're having a Divine Night, Historically Black College and University Day, and it's a tour. It's like a Black History Trail tour. It'll include Rosenwald, Arts Clayton, the Train Depot, which is the wonderful quilt show, as well as and the quilt show across the street. So it's an opportunity for families to come out. It'll be a scavenger hunt. You can go to all four different places. I would encourage you to do that as well. Many people have mentioned the Trash Wars. This is our first time doing this. It was one of my ideas that Derry took with it, but I'll just let you know my team is already stacked, so if you still want to be on the best team, I would probably go ahead and try to get on. I have my mobile hours. We've posted that on the Facebook page. Those can be virtual and in person, and their dates set out throughout the month. The SCEI grant next week, three of our staff members will be in Birmingham working with Atlanta Federal Reserve Bank. And I didn't know we were doing a presentation, but we'll be doing a presentation there. Again, that is additional $38,000 grant funding to help us with our procurement process. You've probably heard the announcement before, but the American Beverage Foundation for a Healthy America was on site today, actually videotaping. So we had a whole movie set up here, and so I would encourage council, I will send it out again, but April 9th and 10th for the African American Mayors Conference, we will be called on stage and recognized for being one of 4 cities across the country to receive this grant. So if you all have not made your arrangements to come in, it would be really great if we could have the entire council there. And if you want that information, reach back out to me. I also want to reiterate, as of 2 days ago, all 15 community projects that were funded from Congressman David Scott has been signed into law. Yay, yay. So again, this has been huge. This marks the first time, let me say this again, the first time in the city of Jonesboro history that we've received congressional community project funding. There were 15 projects funded and we received 2. There were no other cities or governmental entities that received more than 1. So we received $3 million for the City of Jonesboro Pedestrian Improvement Project, and we received $1 million for the Jonesboro Enhancing Law Enforcement and Public Safety Project. And I also want to say this, as we're thinking about the way we compensate our staff, when you say many hats, I don't like to consider it many hats. I like to consider it a way of empowering and giving an additional skill set to our staff. So just about every staff member here can write or participate in a grant. So it's not many hats. It's a skill that's quite transferable, and we don't want them to transfer it to somewhere else. So we need to compensate them from doing this. Shelby Bentley was huge on this. Chief Cato was huge on this. I was huge on this. So you all, this is huge. So again, I cannot stress, out of 15 community projects, we received 2 and have never received congressional funding. And so we're looking forward to following all the guidelines and spending this money. With that being said, this year our goal is to apply for congressional community funding or appropriations with Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock. And we're looking for additional funding for blight, demolition, and economic development for housing. We have a housing project that you all, many have heard, with the city property and the DDA, but this will give us funding to do some of the infrastructure, which means that when developers come in, they can keep the prices at the middle housing level. So I'm excited about that. You heard about the comprehensive report. I'm so glad we didn't take so much away from our city events. I'm not sure if you remember, this is America's 250th birthday. And I feel like our city needs to look that way. So some of that funding, Marcus has already been looking at custom 250 banners. We're looking at some lighting that can reflect, but we're hoping that from the mid-June to mid-July that our city really reflects Celebration 250. So if you all have any ideas of what we can do, not just on one particular day, but that entire month. And so thank you so much for not lowering that any more than what we did, because I do feel like the community deserves to celebrate America's 250th birthday. That's all that I have for today. Does anyone have any reason to go into executive session? Okay, not surprised. At this time, I entertain a motion to go into executive session. For the purposes of? For the purposes of legal. Litigation? For the purposes of litigation, I entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So made.
We're now in executive session. I'll entertain a motion to go back into regular session.
So made.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? We're now in regular session. I'll entertain a motion to amend our executive session topics to include personnel along with litigation.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so much. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve executive session affidavit and minutes for February 9, 2026.
So made.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All righty. At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn.
So made.